stay the hell out of France, people, because it's no longer a country that you can rely on the court system to treat you fairly or equally. Okay. Pavel Durov, born in Russia, the CEO, founder of Telegram, lesser known, but everybody who knows the story knows this. He also founded another company. It was called DK something or other. It was colloquially known as the Russia version of Facebook.
Got you.
And so he started his business in Russia. At one point, this company, which was like helping people organize protests and stuff like that, the Russian government took an interest in it, wanted him to censor accounts. He didn't like that. He sold his interest in the company for a massive amount of money and then left.
Yes.
Didn't feel safe in Russia, went to shop around in terms of where he'd start another business, founded Telegram, an encrypted messaging app, among other things. It hosts, it's a platform, it's a social
It's like
media.
Signal and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I have an account. I don't use it very much, and I only used it to get information that was not readily available.
And now you're never going to use it.
No, I'll use it. I just don't use encrypted apps thinking anything's actually protected. So he founded this encrypted app, Telegram. It's an encrypted messaging app, and government doesn't like encryption anymore.
Of course.
Going back to the Butler shooting of Trump when they had the congressional hearings afterwards, and I noticed it at the time, they were talking about how Crooks had encrypted, he was using encrypted apps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're going to use this as a pretext to go after encrypted apps because they don't like it. When Pavel was shopping around, seeing where he's going to do business, he decided on the United Arab Emirates.
Yes.
Whenever he went to the U.S. recently in an interview he gave with Tucker about a month ago, he said how the FBI had tried to buy off his programmer from what they both thought was an attempt to buy in backdoor entry into Telegram so they can access data, user data, communication.
Good old FBI, huh?
No, they want access to the encrypted stuff. They'll say because they want to prevent drug trafficking, human trafficking, all this other stuff. Pretextual, some might say. Bottom line. He lands in France either to spend the night. There's rumors as to what he was doing there. Some say he was going to have dinner with Macron. Others say he was just going for a night in Paris on his way back to the UAE. And he gets arrested on Saturday. Arrested, not charged, and they're investigating 12 possible charges, which include things like conspiring, collaborating with potential illegal activity on the internet, drug trafficking, cyber harassment, child pornography on the platform. They have yet to charge him even as of today. They extended his detainment by 96 hours. It was 96 hours. They extended it to the limit by which they can detain him without charging him to investigate all of this. And now he's been released from police custody, sent to court as of this morning for further investigation. I don't know what they're doing with him anymore, but they have yet to charge him with anything. Why this is so shocking, A, he didn't get arrested in Russia. He left Russia out of fear of that and gets arrested in France. Can we bring up the tweet from Emmanuel Macron? Macron, the man who loves, respects freedom of expression. This is France, after all. This is not Russia. This is not
also
China.
Definitely not married to a man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not on that bandwagon yet, but they have a sick relationship regardless because she
was very old.
She was old. He was 15. He tweets out, I have seen false information regarding France following the arrest of Pavel Durov. France is deeply committed to freedom of expression and communication, to innovation, and then I'll save the rest of the verbal diarrhea coming out of this. If I can bring up my next tweet, which was ratioing the president of France, and I said something to the effect of, I hate to call you a lying, gaslighting jackass, but a month ago, when France was having their riots because of migration issues or immigration problems.
That's what you're going to call it, migration issues. Exactly.
Macron suggested blocking social media during the riots in a move that even Le Monde was saying is radically authoritarian and undemocratic. So the bottom line, they've arrested him. The question is whether or not it's legit, whether or not it's pretextual, whether or not it's done at the behest of other people. The FBI, when they can't buy in the back channel, might order the hit or order the arrest. France, who wanted to censor social media, it now seems to be carrying out the law in their own hands, literally. Shot across the bow for Twitter, Elon, Rumble, Chris Pavlovsky, anyone who will not immediately bend over to these government demands. Zuckerberg, as we now know, bent over quite readily and happily a while back.
Yeah, of course he did. And he just wrote a letter
he just wrote a letter
saying, I should next time not let them pressure me. The White House and the Are you kidding me, bro?
No, it's
continue. I don't think Zuck wanted to write that letter.
No, that's
the point.
And Zuck's letter came 2 days after this arrest. So the bottom line is, nobody knows what the hell is going on. He's been detained now. They say they're investigating. They arrest, detain, and investigate. And I'll float my personal theory, borrowing from the big brains of Robert Barnes, where we talked about this last Sunday. The charges seem obviously very weak and very spurious. Otherwise, they would have issued the charges. They would have charged him right away, or issued the charges and sought extradition from the United Arab Emirates, who has a bilateral extradition treaty with France. So they nab him. They have nothing on him yet. Investigate him. But they probably want to get access to his phone. They probably want to, make all sorts of accusations so that they can get access to information that they might not have otherwise been able to get access to. And the bottom line is, this is a war on free speech being cloaked as a war against whatever illegal content there might have been on the platform. Illegal content, I have no doubt there is on Telegram, in as much as there is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
I was just going to say
everywhere.
Dave, I was just going to say that. Who's to say that this doesn't happen to anybody else, like an Elon or anybody else, or Chris?
This is like a combination of the Romanian justification for holding the Tate brothers. We're investigating. What do you have to do? You have to stay here. We're going to keep investigating. And what's it about? It's about these girls we're talking to because we think you did some bad things. It says, are you charging me? No, we're still talking to the girls. Sure. And so it's like we're still investigating. And Silk Road.
And I'll say, even not to poo-poo on Tate, even with Tate, there was at least some video evidence of him describing what some might consider to be the crime in Romania. Whether or not you agree with the law, there's video of him saying what he was doing with the girls, which some might say, what was it called, Romeo?
Well, then charge him specifically.
Well, absolutely. And they kept him for 30 days.
Detained.
Albright, the Silk Road, again, a little different in that they did charge him. In this case,
Ross
Ulbricht, sorry. In this case, they haven't even charged yet. They're making these vague allusions to potentially illegal content on the platform. Failure to comply is what they're alleging. And as far as I'm concerned, this is just not the shot across the bow even at this point. This is the warning to Elon Musk. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but a conspiracy analyst. There is unlawful content on Twitter, and I don't know because I've seen it. I know because they've reported on it, and it was a big problem before Elon took it over. It's also a known fact that some intelligence agencies have a hand in either surveilling that or arguably even worse. And this is going to look like a situation where if they don't like you, they'll plant it. Then they'll accuse you of being complicit in it. Then they'll arrest you. And then they will either back end their way into what you will not give them authorization to, or they'll lock you up for up to 20 years, apparently. And
Bob, I'm going to go to you really quick. Because, by the way, when they're just holding you, Tom, with nothing, that's when, I forgot which lady it was, where she testified. She's like, the FBI told us that they were going to plant child pornography
Cheryl
Cheryl Atkinson on my husband's computer. He's screwed either way, because if the FBI or whoever has you, is it the FBI?
No, he's in France.
He's in France. So
guess
what? Oh, it's only a matter of time till they just go, oh, guess what we found? And how is he going to prove it? He's detained. He's with them.
It is, they know exactly what they're doing.
Of course they do.
But go for it, Rob.
Well, the good news is there's an update in the story. He has been released from police custody in France. This happened reported by the New York Post at 11:49 this morning. Was released from police custody in France on Wednesday, then transferred to a court for questioning before a possible indictment. So check this out. This is crazy. So the French prosecutors say the 39-year-old tech tycoon who was in police custody for 96 hours, the maximum allowed under French law, was being transferred to a Paris court to face initial questioning and possible indictment. The judge will decide whether to place him under formal investigation following his arrest as part of a probe into organized crime on the messaging app. So they released him from jail to take him to court and then maybe try and put him back in jail.
For further investigation, for possible indictment. If they had the information and it was legit and bona fide, it would have been released already, he would have been charged already, and they might have sought extradition. They don't have the goods on him.
But they're going to produce, I bet you, if it's France, they're going to produce some goods.
Unless he gives them the keys.
Well, and that's it. And that's it.
So I was on a Twitter space last night, and there was one person floating the idea that he was being arrested for his own protection from others. The bottom line, it's an encrypted app, and he says, unless if you're investigating people and there's hard evidence, fine. But I'm not giving you backdoor access to the information, and that's what they want. This app has been used to organize support for Ukraine, protests against Russia. It has a political importance. But the idea that they're going to say, and just say, you haven't been collaborating with our investigation, to hold him criminally liable for the content on the platform of an encrypted app, it's a war on encryption. And what they're basically saying is, I made the analogy before the show started. It's like going after a landlord for the illegal activity going on in the apartment
complex
that he's renting.
Yes.
Now, if he knows that he's complicit, fine. Otherwise, he's not going to give the police the keys to the door unless they have, warrants, probable cause, whatever.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do right now is basically either outlaw or totally control, nationalize
No secrets.
the encrypted apps so that they can have them. And by the way, they've been using it for very naughty purposes during the Butler Commission
PA
hearings.
thing, yeah.
One of the lady there,
Kimberly Cheadle,
confirmed that she was using encrypted messaging app for their partners overseas. I mean, they're using it to commit the crimes, and they don't want the civilians to have their God-given right to privacy on the internet.
What are you going to say, Rob?
No, what's good for me is not good for ye. Is that the same?
No.
That's how they act.
Rules for me, but not for thee.
Yeah.
Bottom line, it's encryption for me, but not for thee. And they know damn well what they do with it. We know what they do with it. And now they don't want citizens having the right to do it. And they're going after the CEOs of these companies, tech companies, up to 20 years in jail. And they haven't even charged them with jack squat.
And the Zuckerberg thing, you don't get, everybody's like, oh, look he did a great thing. He came out and admitted to doing the wrong thing. You don't get a pat on the back when you admit to doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Now, you can look and go, hindsight's 2020. The fact of the matter is he worked in collusion with the White House to censor the American public, and there's a history of this censorship now, not just when it comes to misinformation, but just voices that shouldn't be heard. And if you're uncertain or unfamiliar, go listen to RFK Jr. on Tucker, where he talks about his account. They banned him from, Meta banned him from Instagram after having 1 million followers, citing misinformation, COVID vaccine, medical misinformation. But he goes, you can't prove to a single thing that I said that was misinformation. Yet they just, okay, we don't want you to talk. We'll find a way to not only shadow ban you, we'll block you, we'll demonetize you, and now we'll prosecute and punish you.
And what the timing? I messaged Tom in the group chat. Look at the timing. Zuckerberg's letter came out on the same day that the Tucker RFK thing. RFK, if you haven't seen it, RFK goes in and goes,
Yep.
Look at all the stuff that they did to me. That very same day Zuckerberg's letter comes out, and you nailed it. What you do, you're admitting for doing nefarious. Is it illegal? Is it illegal to do what you're doing? I mean, it's interference. It's cheating, right?
Do you want to be on the right? I think at the end of when it goes into the 2024 election, and not to tie it all back, but if you're looking at the 2024 election, do you want to be on the right side of things or the wrong side? And the more that I look at it, the people like Elon Musk and what they have done for free speech, the people like Tulsi Gabbard and what she has done for preserving the American way by serving as a United States
Lieutenant Colonel.
Yes,
Army Reserve.
when you look at RFK and his fight for the environment, and now his fight against vaccine injuries and helping prevent them, and now fighting for healthier food for kids. I look at all of these issues. Look at Trump fighting for a safer country. Do you want to be on the right side of things or the wrong side? And the more that I look at the people that are rallying around Trump and working with Trump and trying to put this America first agenda forward, I look at that and I go, I want to be on the right side. And I feel like these are the people that are on the right side this time.
Appreciate this, by the way, in terms of that, and it goes to the censorship and then the accusation that all they have to do is say, this is illegal, take it down, Rumble, Chris Pavlovsky, Twitter, Elon Musk, and if you don't, complicit. They're using drug trafficking, they're at least alluding to child pornography, drug trafficking, cyber harassment, because those are serious. You go to England now, where they're outlawing, saying it's okay to be white or criticizing migrants. And if they go there and they say, Elon, Chris, take this video down because we have these strict draconian, speech laws in England, and they say no. Oh, now you're complicit in promoting hate speech. You come to England. We're going to arrest you. This is what they're saying.
And the hypocrisy in that is that they sit here and they say we got to shut it down because they're using it for child porn or we're sex trafficking minors. But then look at the move to remove the stigma around pedophiles by the same people who want to call them minor attractive persons.
They want to call them maps.
So are the children needing to be protected or are they not? Because they need to be protected when it's for your argument, but when it's against your argument and we're generalizing pedophiles as bad people, well, no, the children aren't that important.
Yeah, think about the danger posed to people who use these encrypted apps when you have governments that are willing to do this, where the safety and the privacy of every person who uses Telegram basically is just contingent on Durov holding fast against the government crackdown. Everybody on Twitter being able to speak freely and share news and information, that's all just because Elon won't bend. What happens when they crack one of them? Because every one of the people who's trying to defend these things has to stand strong 24/7, all day, every day against a government onslaught. All they got to do is crack you once. Rumble's the great YouTube alternative. until they find the one thing that gets Chris Pavlovsky to start taking down content, then the whole thing falls apart.
No, but or they do what they're doing, which is say impose impossible, unconscionable standards to do business in their countries, and then Chris and Rumble says, "Well, we're not doing it in France. Get VPNs if you want to get us." Elon says, we'll pull out of Brazil. We're not going to get arrested in Brazil, but if you want to act like this, we won't support it.
But you know what this reminds me of? Is this totally random, Rob? You guys remember? And by the way, I'm looking at a Liberty safe that's in this corner here. Remember in 2023 August, Tom, you remember this? The FBI requested and obtained the access code to a Liberty safe during a raid on Nathan Hughes, a suspect in the January 6th Capitol riot. They had a valid warrant to search Hughes' property, including his safe, and Liberty safe complied by providing the access code after validating warrant. Guys, this is a safe. When you own a safe, it's in the word safe. It's supposed to be safe because that's your personal property. For the FBI to go there and obtain backdoor codes, Tom, to get into these things, it's not kosher.
Think of the drug dealing that Viva was mentioning. I'm forgetting the exact report we ran on it. This was months ago. We discussed it on the show. Vinny, I think you brought that story, where it was the way the government was monitoring communications between people. And they were doing it based on an existing thing that was carved out for monitoring drug trafficking.
Yep.
The law was put in place to where you could monitor people in the immediate orbit of suspected drug dealers. Under this legislation, they expanded it out to like 10 degrees of separation to where random people who had no connection to drug trafficking operations could be monitored.
Yeah.
Because someone they knew someone who knew someone who knew someone who knew a drug dealer one time.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, great. I guess we can go through all your texts and social media now.
Well, if you're doing nothing wrong, you got nothing to hide. But
But I don't want people watching everything.
I'm being totally.
Yeah, I know.
But also to put all of this in context as well, this is in the same realm of the universe where I don't know if it was the Department of Justice, whomever got the warrant against former Twitter. I think it was either before, just with Elon, but it might have been before, to get Donald Trump's private DMs in Twitter, and Twitter opposed, but the judge ordered it, held Twitter in contempt for not giving it over, and they forced Twitter to give over the DMs of the president at the time because they didn't want to go through the proper channels, which would have involved disclosing that request to the president under NARA, the National Archive Records Act.
And this is the problem with these backdoor systems, like with the Liberty Safe, like with the DMs, with Signal, where any system that has this backdoor, they would much rather use the backdoor than have to go about it the right way.
Of course.
Think about what happened. Russia invades Ukraine in 2022. And everybody immediately says, as they're trying to sanction Russian leaders and crack down on Russia's presence internationally, hey, Elon, disable the Teslas of all the Russian oligarchs. And Elon Musk said, no, I don't want to. Not, no, I can't, that's not possible. Not, no, what are you, insane? Teslas don't have a backdoor that you can exploit. He said, no, I'm not gonna. Which means I could, but I'm refusing to comply. Great. Rob's over here smirking because he drives a Tesla, so
I don't want them going through my back door.
Hey, Elon,
no, but they can.
They can though, Tom, right? For each individual vehicle. Like,
yeah, they have codes to get into them.
Well, they literally have a camera. I mean, almost every
loan
smart car
default
now does.
repossessions.
Well,
Hey, Elon, drive those oligarch Teslas into walls and trees. And
it's like,
I don't want to.
Go ahead, Rob.
this is crazy.
Really fast.
I didn't realize that my car recorded me all the time, but there's a camera inside right above the mirror. So what I've done is I folded a piece of paper up and I just put it over there. I don't care if they listen to me, but there is that weird invasion of privacy where I'm like, I don't want people ever going back and being able to watch me driving.
And if we get 1 million subscribers, we will upload all that footage from inside of Rob's Tesla.
And then the channel will get 3 strikes in one video.
So fun. But Viva, it doesn't surprise me, especially with France. And I just think, I hope to God, like what Rob's saying, because this is if he falls, if that happens and they're doing it to him, who's to say it's not going to happen?
Well, and bottom line, stay the hell out of England, stay the hell out of France, and God bless America.
And just to close it, we have to wrap up. Tom, when's the last time, just really fast, when was the last time you were in Europe?
Austria this past summer.
Austria.
Just Vienna. We flew straight to Vienna and saw Formula One race there about 40 miles away.
And Vienna's good because, Tom, Vienna, like, it's still holding strong. It's not looking
I'll tell you what we noticed about Vienna. We noticed a few things about Vienna. Number one, we didn't see any homeless. And we're taking, a car all the way from the airport, all the way in. I didn't see homeless. I didn't see a lot of tagging.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of very nice people. And when I was there, they were very careful to point out and said, well, don't refer to us as European. We're basically Germans.
Yeah.
So I had that one correction.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, they said, hey, we think a strong U.S. president makes it safe for Europe.
Weird. Is that weird? And think about it.
Now, remember, this is Vienna. This is at a Formula One race.
Yeah.
So there's some demographic
big time
things are
security.
happening
Oh yeah,
here.
they clean up for.
These are not factory workers on the border of
course.
Italy.
Because my point I'm getting to is like, bro, France, UK, and guys, it's not like I'm watching 1 or 2 videos. I am flooded with people on Connect. Shout out to Connect. Download it if you haven't, because you can message us directly. People that are just like, dude, look at this. Look what we're dealing with. Look at the streets. Women can't walk, Rob, in the streets of France and England. And some guy from Leeds sent me something. And it's like, guys, it's getting to that point.
London is nuts.
London, forget about it. My cousin just canceled his trip. He was going to go to London. He's like, I was going to bring the family. This has been planned for a year. Off the table, bro. He's like, we're just going to go to the beach. That's it.
But
I would
hope is not.
I would go to London for business right now without hesitation. I wouldn't take my family.
Business, exactly. That's
But
my
hope
point.
is not lost for Europe. If you take a look at a great interview, Pat just did it a few weeks ago with Dominic Tarzinski. They talk
Amazing.
about the strict immigration policies that Poland has and how Poland has reignited nationalism. And he is like his job, and I loved it. They asked him, are you going to let migrants in? And he goes, no. And they go, why? And he goes, because they're a threat to my people, and the people voted me in to protect them. I am going to do what they voted me into to protect the citizens of this country. If you have not watched that interview, go and watch it, because I don't believe all hope is lost for Europe. Look at what Poland is doing. Look at some of the practices that they've enabled, their rationale and their logic behind it. And Patrick uncovers it with Dominic, so go take a look at that. If you think it's over and Europe is lost, there is still hope, and in that interview, you'll see it.
And then look at crime, cost of living, everything else in Poland, and the incidence of certain crimes, and say to yourself, wow.
Why? How?
Maybe the government's got it together.
How? And they kind of
There is hope for Europe. It can fight its way back. The United States can fight its way back. Viva, I'm sorry, Canada is lost.
Okay.
We're never getting that back.
okay.
The Indians got you on that one,
love you
buddy.
here, though.
But we're glad you're here. We're glad you made it out. But it requires, like happened in Poland, the reigniting of the nationalist spirit of, this is my homeland, these are my people. We will defend what we have, rather than just, oh, whatever. We'll just let in anybody. We'll open it up to whatever.
Anybody else feel like we're getting that right now? Look at what came out last Friday with RFK joining Trump. I feel like we're back to that, and I feel like we're building from that. And that's why the Kamala bounce, I'm very interested to see the RFK Trump bounce and how the polls show.
Oh,
later.
I can't wait. What a monumental moment and what a game changer to just nullify all the DNC, Beyonce, nothing in one fell swoop. What's up, everybody? Vincent O'Shaughnessy here. If you want to see me and the entire Valuetainment crew, we will be at the Vault Conference September 4th through the 7th at the Palm Beach Convention Center, hosted by none other than Patrick Bet-David and featuring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Guys, this is the place to be. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to level up, do not miss this opportunity. This is the best place to network. If you want tickets, go to thevaultconference.com. Do not waste time. This thing is going to sell out, and I will see you guys there. Peace and love. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.